How can I get some grenades?
Okay. Well,
hey man, you don't know. Terminators could be real. We just don't know about it. What's up, Internet World? We're the News 19 Nerds. I'm Leroy.
I'm Michael.
And we're here to review Terminator Salvation.
No.
Terminator Rise of the Machines.
No.
Terminator Genesis.
Yes.
With the Y.
Man, Emilia Clarke, she really did a great job.
She did not, and I love her.
She was great.
She was not. Her and Jai Courtney, ooh, not a good team.
Weren't you trying to make Jai Courtney happen?
No, I was not. I just said that Jai Courtney. No, I'm Henry Cavill.
That's fine, but weren't you also talking about Jai Courtney and Sam Worthington? And
I said Sam Worthington is decent. I like Sam Worthington in Salvation. I think Jai Courtney is decent in Suicide Squad. That's all I've said. Check the tape.
Both incorrect.
We're here to talk about Terminator Dark Fate.
Dark Fate. The latest in a string of sequels that nobody seems to care about.
Nope.
But
they spent a lot of money on it, so we're going to talk about it because we saw it.
I liked it.
I did too.
Yeah, it was fine. But at this point, it's almost like diminishing returns, right? Your hopes are so low. Your expectations are so low. You're just like, it was a competent movie, and that's all it needed to be.
I will say this. I went into it. When I first heard they were doing Terminator, I got excited. Excuse us, guys. Gas. I'm getting old. Can't drink sodas the way I used to. I was excited that Terminator was coming out. And then I went back to the well and I realized, ooh. And then
there are more bad ones than good ones?
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, but wait. Tim Miller's coming on. James Cameron. Arnold. Linda Hamilton. I love Mackenzie Phillips. I was like,
Mackenzie Davis.
Who's Mackenzie Phillips?
I don't know. Not this person.
Hold on to one more day. Things are going
Wilson
right.
Phillips?
That's my what I was thinking of. Hold on for one more day. Anyway, I don't know why they watched this.
I don't know either. What's your point?
I was excited for all the parties involved. And I thought they were going to make a great movie. They did not. They made an okay movie.
They made an okay movie.
And
that's fine.
But no, it's not.
I need you know what I need people to stop thinking?
What?
Man, Terminator 1 changed the game. Terminator 2 changed the game. Not every movie can change the game.
This is the reason why I say it's not good enough. Because with all that talent involved, and we have seen a string of these movies this year. I'm not saying Terminator Dark Fate's a bad movie. I'm saying it's just, And for everybody involved, it should have been better.
Why?
Really?
Because the reason why I said that is because I'm kind of tired of the idea of a Terminator. At some point, like, what story are you telling now?
But see, that's my point.
What's the new Terminator story?
But that is my point. They did not. It seems to me they wanted to make a beautiful movie, and they skimped on the script. And I'm not knocking. I'm not saying David Goyer can't do a good script, but he is really hit or miss.
He did this?
Yeah. You did.
He also did Dark Knight, right?
Yeah. That's why I said he's hit or miss.
Didn't he do like some of the Blade stuff?
Yeah. What are you doing, man? Just hit the X thingy.
You hit the X thingy.
I can't because you have the mouse.
Well, then shut up and let me touch the buttons.
I will not shut up.
See, I just did that and it didn't even do it.
Just scroll down.
You told me to hit the X.
I did.
Hit the X or scroll down? Which one?
Both.
Well, you didn't say that.
I figured you were smart enough to be smarter than our stupid computer. Go to writer. 8 more credits.
I'm going to go where I hit the button at.
See what I deal with, people? Do you see what I deal with? So, yeah. Here's your writing credits. Yep. You see that name, right? It's hit or miss. And I've always been upset with David S. Goyer from the stuff he said from She-Hulk. So I've been off of him from day one. But he can write a competent script every now and then. My problem is I don't think the people who wrote this understood what made the first 2 movies great.
What made them great? Tell us.
The first one was pretty much a horror flick. In my opinion, it was a horror flick because here's a woman who's just trying to make her way through life, and you're beset with the fact that you are the mother of a savior. You are being pursued by a homicidal robot who's from the future to kill you, oh, and there's a guy who's crazy telling you, I'm going to be here to protect you. Like, that's a
And
horror
gets you
movie.
pregnant.
I mean, she didn't know that. He didn't know that. It's just, but I mean, when you think about that, that's a horror movie. And then you change the game in the sequel to say this scarred her emotionally to where she can't even raise the child. And then the homicidal robot Terminator comes back and is there to protect her and him. And and through the movie he understands, but still doesn't understand what it means to be human. All at the same time. You got none of that in this movie.
I think you got some of that in this movie.
I don't think you didn't get any of that human emotional attachment in this movie. When did you ever care for any of these characters?
Yes.
When?
I like Danny.
When did you start to like her?
We'll talk when we get to spoilers.
Okay, but I just didn't. I didn't identify with anybody. I felt like this is a movie you put on, you don't want to go to bed, you're reading a book or something, you're on the internet, and you're like, I'll just put this on in the background. That was Terminator Dark Fate to me. It's not a horrible movie. It's not a great movie. It's just fine. And to me, that's not good for a Terminator movie.
So you don't want any more Terminator movies?
Huh?
You don't want any more Terminator movies?
Nope. Not if this is what I'm going to get.
Hey, yeah.
At least with Salvation. At least with
three
Salvation,
other movies
they
to show
tried.
you, hey, you know what? Maybe James Cameron knocked it out of the park after the second one. Maybe he did.
I don't.
And maybe we're getting diminishing returns. It happens.
But there's so much you could tell.
What? Tell me another story.
What I'm saying with technology, surveillance, how we are with these phones, we're always attached to it. I'm shocked that the Terminator wasn't malware. Like, why was it? Like, don't get me wrong. I thought what is it, T7?
What, the new one?
Yeah.
Rev 9.
Rev 9? I thought the Rev 9 was amazing as far as like what it could do. But if you know the future, why did you send back a Terminator that knew that and had a talk about the surveillance, social media? Because that's what he was using to track her. I just felt that there were so many things they could have done better, and they just and for everyone involved, dropped the ball.
How much was James Cameron involved in this?
You had Tim Miller, you had Linda Hamilton, you had Arnold.
Tim Miller, he did Deadpool. What else did he do?
He did Deadpool.
That's one movie.
But this is what I'm saying. You made me believe Deadpool.
Okay.
And I am not one of those people who was like, Deadpool is an amazing character. I thought Deadpool was trash, and I'm a comic fan. I think Deadpool is annoying. He's in everything. I've always felt Deadpool was annoying. And when I saw that movie, I was like, okay, I get it. And I own Deadpool comics. So for me, for Tim Miller to take a property that I thought was dead, to turn it into the monolith that it is. Now, granted, he had Ryan Reynolds to help him. But I'm like, man, this is what y'all gave me?
Man, you had high expectations. I did not.
I did. You know what? And now that I think about it, I did.
I don't know why you did.
I wanted more.
You got set up. You set yourself up. In these trailers, you kept saying, you know what, I keep falling for it, and they got me. You fell for it.
I will say this, though. They didn't get me. I got me. You know why? You know why?
Why?
Because the trailer told me the movie.
Not all of it.
Pretty much 75% of it.
Not all of it.
I will give this 2.5 out of 5 HKs.
I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 drapery vans.
3.5? Really?
Maybe 3.25.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun.
Man, you better than me.
Yeah, I said 3.25 out of 5 drapery vans. That's what I give it.
Why?
I thought it was enjoyable. It was fun. I thought the action was well choreographed. I enjoyed Linda Hamilton. I thought she was great in this movie. As somebody who was dealing with PTSD and dealing with stuff in her life and what happened to her. I really enjoyed her. Just no nonsense. It was just great just to see her again. It's like, yeah.
It was great to see her. I felt like she deserved more.
Well, yeah.
I did.
I like Mackenzie Davis a lot.
I love her.
I like Natalia Reyes.
Hashtag Halt and Catch Fire. Go watch that show. She is awesome in that.
Okay.
With Lee Pace.
I also liked.
And Scoot McNairy.
I really enjoyed everybody, like all the characters in this movie. I enjoyed them.
I enjoyed all the characters.
I enjoyed what they did. I wish they had more to do, sure, but it was fun.
For me, I was just like,
because I just wasn't going into this being like I'm expecting something. Now I do feel like they dropped the ball on a couple of political statements. You could argue whether or not they were in the movie. I feel like they were. We'll talk about it in spoilers. I
felt like with everybody you had, I felt like the film could have said more, especially in 2019, and what they had at their disposal. And I understand how much money they spent on it,
mm-hmm.
but I felt like I would have liked a more low-budget film if you spent more on the writing. I would have been cool with that. And I hate saying this, but let's look at a movie like Dredd. Low budget, you didn't have a whole ton of special effects, and it still holds up. To me, Dredd is an awesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
Where to me, now granted, other people may disagree. It didn't do great at the box office. It made a modicum amount of money. They're talking about doing a series, but to me, that shows what you can do with great writing, great actors, and not a lot of special effects. The TV series was good. I never finished it because once they left it at a cliffhanger, I jumped. I hate when a show just ends and they don't wrap it up. So I bailed. I'm not gonna lie, but I felt like I wanted more. I felt like Linda Hamilton wasn't given her due. But we'll get into spoilers. I just felt like everybody could have been given more to work with. And that's why I said I give it a 2.5. Because it's just, like, you saw it as a matinee. Mm-hmm. It's a decent $5 movie. If you ain't doing nothing on a Tuesday,
mm-hmm.
or Saturday morning, or Sunday morning, your team is 2-6, and you live in Cleveland.
Who are you coming after?
Cleveland Brown fans.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Did they attack you?
They attacked me by being here. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh. Yep. Got it.
I mean, it's getting cold, so.
Okay, great. So that's non-spoilers.
Non-spoilers.
Now we got spoiler talk here. Lots of spoilers.
Go.
I felt like this movie dropped the ball in terms of some of the political stuff we thought maybe it was going to say.
Okay. Like what?
Like dealing with immigration.
Yep.
I thought there were a couple times where it kind of hit on stuff and it didn't go far enough. Like, I thought it was interesting that they had to join a caravan for Mexican nationals who were trying to cross the border. That was something. I thought it was interesting that the first, 5-10 minutes of the movie is in Spanish. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Because I think it's saying something. People always think of, or at least in my mind, I think people always think of Terminator as just big American action machismo movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're gonna take 5 minutes and you got to read. That's not something you always get in an action movie. A big dumb action movie. Like, no, you got to read.
You take 5 minutes, you're gonna read.
You're gonna read. You're gonna pay attention to this family. I really like Natalia Reyes, Natalie Reyes. I don't know how you pronounce her name. I thought she was strong. I like this scene at the beginning where she goes to talk to the plant manager.
Oh, for her brother?
And we're like, oh, we can see this is somebody who takes charge. She ain't taking no crap. I like that. I believed her. I kind of wish we had a little more with her and her brother just so it might have resonated more when the brother died. I was like, he dead. Who cares?
Oh, you knew he was dying.
Yeah, I was like,
I knew he was dying when I see him in No More the Trailer.
I was like, man, you were in the first part of this trailer, you were in the last part.
I knew he was dying when we watched the Spanish trailer.
Uh-huh.
And you were like, is all this movie going to be in Spanish? And I remember the part where Mackenzie Davis, and I almost said Phillips, and I don't know why I'm thinking Mackenzie Phillips. I don't even know who Mackenzie Phillips is. But I remember the part, and I knew he was dying, and I was like, her brother was in the car, or in the truck, and the two of them, and there's a shot where she grabs
and jumps out of the truck.
And I'm like,
where the brother at?
Yeah, oh
no!
I was like, oh, hermano. So I was like,
yeah.
I was like, dog, that was a plot point right there.
I liked that this movie opened up with them killing John Connor too.
Man,
I was like, wow. And it wasn't like a little. They shot a kid on camera twice. You probably loved it. I know you
I did.
I know you.
I have never, and I say this as a Terminator fan. I always thought Edward Furlong was annoying. I have never been a real big Edward Furlong fan, and I've always wanted to give him the benefit of doubt that he was a good actor, and maybe that was a character he was playing. I always felt like, you know what? I always wanted Edward Furlong to grow up to be.
Who?
Norman Reedus.
Okay. Cool.
I was like, that might be how Norman Reedus was as an actor younger, because Edward Furlong reminded me of Norman Reedus in the second Blade.
Okay.
And I was like, it wasn't until towards the end of Terminator that I actually liked Edward Furlong. In the beginning of the movie, I was like, I hope they kill him. He was.
You got your wish. It just
he was annoying.
Years. It took years.
It took years, but he was annoying.
I thought.
That's just me. Some of y'all might like John Connor.
I thought the CG at the beginning with D.H. Linda Hamilton and a young Edward Furlong looked really good.
Edward Furlong looked good. Linda
Arnold
Hamilton.
Schwarzenegger looked weird.
He looked weird, but Linda Hamilton looked like that. Like
I was like,
that was money well spent.
That's like, did y'all? Is this old footage?
Now, I read an interview about her where she was on set and she was like, it was painful to watch a woman act like her because so there's a younger woman who did her parts and then they de-aged her using their Skynet Gemini Man de-aging Marvel technology,
right?
And she said it was painful. She said it was painful to see that woman act like her because there were so many things
she would have done differently.
And she was like, and then she saw, and she's like, man, that's me. And so that part I really appreciated. I felt like, to me, that hooked me, the killing of John Connor, because it showed the future was different. What I didn't like was, from there, and it jumped to Danny, we did not get more time with them.
With Linda?
With Danny or Linda. Because I think what they wanted us to do was watch the first two movies and then come directly into this third one. Because the one thing that made the first two Terminators amazing was you didn't see. The interaction between the Terminators didn't happen until later on in the movie. So you got to see John Connor be a turd as a kid. And remember him breaking into the ATM and them going to and then the cops. Like, you got to see them a little bit more. Same thing in Terminator. You got to see Linda Hamilton deal with her crappy waitressing job. You didn't get that a lot. I would have liked to have seen Danny and her brother. You got that one little side thing when they went to work and he was like, hey, this machine's replacing me.
Yeah.
You could have spoken, take politics out of it. You could have spoken to the idea that as we are building and being more sophisticated society, technology is going to come with us and it's going to replace the common man.
You feel like that one line wasn't enough?
I don't, because I felt like that idea should have been more prevalent because you saw it in T2. You saw Joe Morton's character when he was at Cyberdyne Systems. And the whole thing with him and the key card, and remember he had to leave home, and where was that? And I personally felt like they could have done a better job with that. And that's just me.
Okay.
So,
was there anything in the movie that you liked?
I loved the Border Patrol stuff.
Okay.
That reminded me of Sicario.
Okay.
Remember in Sicario when they were crossing the border and they would go into Juarez, and I don't think a lot of people understand regardless where your politics lie, how militaristic and how sophisticated Border Patrol and guarding the border has become.
Yeah.
And how hard it is to get across the border. And I think that to me was amazing to see the drones and them walking through the Border Patrol headquarters and then the detention center. Like, to me, that was amazingly shot.
Yeah.
And like when you saw how much technology was there, I thought that was a wasted opportunity. I really did. And I just felt like Linda Hamilton should have been given more. And it was, you kind of saw little glimpses of her chewing the scenery, and her and what was Mackenzie's name? Grace.
Grace.
I felt like they should have been given more to work with, in the sense of, you fought this, you're from a future that she tried to prevent, and it still happened. And like, there should have been more of a begrudgingly respect that I don't like you, and you don't like me, but we're here to save her. And
See, I got all that.
And we're both expendable. Like, to me,
I got all that.
To me, I didn't get that till the end, when they were at the detention center, when Linda Hamilton was like, she's right. Like, I felt like there should have been more of that.
Okay.
And to me, that's just me. I wanted more of them chewing up the scene together. Mm-hmm. That emotional connection, where I got a little bit of it when they were on the train, mm-hmm. when she was like, "Oh, you're a womb," and I felt like they could have done more with that scene.
So, what do you think about Danny being the savior and not her son? Or
I loved it. I just
thought that was cool.
I did, but I thought her future version was not good. The cornrow Danny in the future, I was like, ugh. I was like, y'all could have done a better job.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the way she looked.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think of the action? Oh gosh.
Hot take.
Uh-huh.
The plant scene was amazing.
Okay.
Everything else was eh.
Which plant? Like the
first
plant?
The first plant scene
Uh-huh.
was amazing.
You didn't like the car chase part of it?
We saw that in the trailer.
We didn't see all of it in the trailer.
We saw most of it in the trailer. We saw, like, dude, I was like, we saw this. We saw that. We saw this. That the fight scene with her and the sledgehammer, mm-hmm. and him with the knives, and then there were two of them.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I was like,
interesting.
CGI. I was like, y'all, you didn't get me.
Yeah. I like the choreography in terms of just how they moved. Mm-hmm. Looked really great. There was a scene where like everybody was involved kind of towards the end.
Oh yeah, the water plant.
Yeah, and there was like some way Linda Hamilton had a gun.
Yep, she
tried to shoot it, but she couldn't shoot it. Mm-hmm. And the Rev 9 came and got it, but she still pulled the trigger and popped up on him. Mm-hmm. It was just choreographed very well.
I thought the fight scene was choreographed really well. I thought they could have done a bit. To me, the meat of the movie didn't really get going until they got to Arnold. And I felt like we all, and this is the thing, if you watch the trailer, we all knew what was in Laredo. Mm-hmm. We knew Arnold was there.
Yeah.
We just didn't know in what capacity. And then once we figured out, oh, you're getting these texts. Oh, these coordinates. I was like, that's Arnold. And I was like, he's the one that killed John Connor. And I was like, don't let it be him.
Well, we knew he was the one that killed John Connor.
We did?
Yeah, because we saw him. We saw the Terminator kill him.
No. I'm saying, like, I knew that, but what I'm saying is, I was hoping it was a different
Terminator.
Yeah, I was hoping it was something else.
Oh, because to me, I understood it to mean somehow there was only one Terminator left, and that was the one that killed him.
See, I like the idea of Sarah Connor, because this is one thing that James Cameron always said. This is Sarah Connor's story. Mm-hmm. The men have always been ancillary to the fact that this woman has been dealing with PTSD and a pretty effed up life.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I like revisiting some of these old heroines. That's the one thing I loved about Halloween, the remake with Jamie Lee Curtis, mm-hmm. as the grizzled old grandmother who survived. I wanted to see more of that. I wanted to see more, and not her be I want to see her more grizzled, but excuse me. But when she said, I kill Terminators and I drink and I'm blackout until I'm blackout drunk, I wanted to see that. Like, I wanted to see them have to take care of her. Mm-hmm. In other words, where she's like, it's happening all over again, and she's still dealing with the ramification of her son's dead, and she's drinking, but when she's not drinking or she's a drunk, but she's a badass, like she's a Terminator killer. I wanted to see that.
Kind of like how, and this is a slight thing, but you know how an Archer,
Yep.
Archer's he's horrible.
He's an alcoholic.
He's like the best spy. He's still the best spy, even though he's a drunk.
Archer is the best alcoholic secret agent. I'd put Archer against James Bond.
Yeah.
Because he really is.
Yeah.
He, like, I remember the episode when Ray was, like, about to tell Mallory that Archer gambled away all the money they were going to use to buy this disc. And he was like, he's drunk. And she's like, and?
Yeah.
And then her and Lana were like, have you ever seen Archer drunk? And they were like, just once. And it's like, that's what I wanted to see. And maybe that's just me being selfish, because I thought Terminator 2 was so personal with that scene they showed in the beginning of the movie. When
So she was training.
Oh, not just training, when she was just like, it's coming for you.
Yeah.
And then you're all going to die and all this. And she just loses it. That scene and that whole idea behind that was so amazing. And I wanted to see more of that.
Right.
And I felt like we didn't. I felt like she was one-dimensional in that aspect. And we didn't see her be a three-dimensional character until Arnold showed up. And that's where I felt like the movie did not do a good job, to the point where there should have been more conversations, because Linda Hamilton went through what Danny went through. When Danny was yelling to the guard, she should have told her, shut the up. They're going to put you in a home.
Well, I wonder if there is a longer extended cut of the movie that like fills in scenes. That would be interesting.
I hope so, because so when Danny was in the detention center, Grace is up there being looked at by the medical staff, and she's telling the Border Patrol agent, okay, listen, this is great. Like, Linda Hamilton should have been saying, if you don't shut up and sit down, they're going to put you in a mental institute. I know, because I was in one. Like, where was that?
Well, I don't think their cages weren't next to each other.
They weren't, but what I'm saying is that she heard her say that. Because remember, she was talking with the other guy trying to break out. And the thing is, she should, like, I kind of felt like towards the end, she got a little bit more protective of Danny. And I would have liked to see her go back and forth between that dichotomy of trying to protect Danny, but then like being scared because, oh, I lost John. I don't know how. Like, I would have liked to have seen her being a broken soldier, and I felt like she wasn't. And so that's...
You think Grace was a broken soldier?
Grace played the Michael Ben character very well. She was the, I know who you are, I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I thought she was great. I loved the aesthetics of seeing her augmented.
Augmented, yeah.
Oh man, give me a sideshow statue of her
She
swinging that
like,
thing.
and I didn't make this first, but somebody else did. Somebody from Kind of Funny said she kind of looks like the Deadpool character from the Wolverine Deadpool in terms of how
the surgery
look.
scars on her eyes. Like, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more, or at least have her tell and break down what happened as they were riding the train, like little talks, because she told a little bit, but it was very sparse of how, and I would have liked to seen them share stories, like, here's what happened with me, here's what, and so you got a little bit, but it was just surface.
Yeah.
And my thing was, Linda Hamilton, aka Sarah Connor, how the hell do you know people in, how the hell you get an EMP?
Who was that black military man? Sir, you have not served this country well. How are you just giving this to this lady?
He said, I don't normally commit treason.
Like, wait, what?
What?
Yeah, see, that's a scene where, like, something's missing. How do you know this person?
And see, that's why I was like...
Because I had to think back, were you from Terminator 2
Nope.
and I didn't know? No,
Nope.
you're a new character.
And see, Arnold knew who he was. And Arnold was like...
I don't know who he was?
Yeah, because remember he told her, if you're going to put your bag in some chips, put it in some chips. And then Danny smiled. And I was like... Maybe they're... Like, I was just really disappointed with that. Because I was like, how you just go show up and give 4 strangers a classified military weapon?
Yeah. 2 of them.
You don't have any backup. One, why was no one on an Overwatch position to make sure they weren't getting ambushed?
Well, see, I feel like nobody was there because he was a lone wolf doing whatever he's supposed to.
But what I'm saying is, you don't know that. Like, you have two augmented machines, yeah, who can see stuff, but tactically, like, they were, like, this is where I get really upset with certain things. If you're going to go military, and you're going to be, and use military terms, we're going to use her as a goat, and we're going to set up a kill box. Don't half-ass it when you try to set up. Like, he just rolled up. Is this you?
Yeah.
You got the stuff? Like,
yeah.
where you had a, where was this planning? Like, it was just really half-assed, and it just really bothered me. And I was already at the point where I was like, something else they didn't explain. And I really felt like in the movie, they threw enough at us that we would overlook. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was disappointed. Where I was like, I finally get to see Linda Hamilton back. Because I'm a Linda Hamilton. When she was in T2, I'm sorry. Linda Hamilton should have been nominated for an Oscar. For what she did in T2, you can't tell me there were other women in her category who put into that role what she put into it when that movie came out. Because, I mean, the whole lifting weights in the room, and then she had the thing, and then remember the guy licked her face, and she had, and remember she got out, she hit that one dude, and she started screaming when Arnold started coming through, and they had the, sorry. Linda Hamilton, Oscar. Give it to her.
Yeah, go back and give it to her. Go back in time like the Terminators and give it to her.
Legion, make that happen.
Yeah, speaking of go back in time, why is it whenever people go back in time, it's always one Terminator.
Yep.
And one Resistance person. Like, that just seems weird. Send 1,000 Terminators if you're trying to kill this thing. Like, what are we doing?
Not only send 1,000, why aren't you sending why aren't you sending one of those HK machines back? Like, I don't, and that's why I said I don't get it.
And is it like the thing of, the technology is limited that you only send one item back through time?
Son.
Like, that seems kind of, And I get it maybe for humans because of how the body works, sure, but you're a machine. Just send a bunch of them back.
Son, you ever be chatting with somebody and you have an emoji battle and you send something and they send something, I'm like, if I'm Legion, if I'm Skynet, I'm sending back 20 Terminators in 15-minute increments.
Yeah, because we know that they did that because they said that, well, not maybe that many in that short amount of time, but apparently they sent a bunch of Terminators back.
Well, that was Skynet. That was Skynet.
Right.
Skynet sent multiple Terminators back.
Yeah.
And then and they didn't realize once they were back that the mission was over.
Yeah.
They didn't and this is another thing which bothered me was, you're from the future. You know how technology works. Why are you not sending back help? Like, that's what really, and I thought that was very interesting when Grace said, if you don't kill a Terminator in the first few minutes,
you're done.
You're done. Why weren't there more people? Like, I'm like this. Tyler, you up?
Yes.
Connor, you up? Tasha. So I'm like, jump. Like, like paratroopers?
Yeah.
Battle of Normandy?
Go. Yeah. We got the green zone. Go.
Like,
lights green.
In Mexico, you'd have seen dropping white people, black people. You'd have seen just dropping soldiers naked soldiers out of. You'd have just got hit with them. Let me run the resistance.
Why also? Or no. What do you think of Carl?
Carl left me with a lot of questions.
I like Carl.
I did, but
He's funny.
You ain't never had sex in 20 years, Carl.
He's a robot.
She never tried to get with him. Because that's what
he said. That the relationship wasn't physical.
I understand that, but
at the end, she was close.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, when he said that, there was like, you sure you ain't never? There was a lot of questions I had for Carl, and I did like.
It is weird that they say that because, at the same time, we know the Terminator has a penis.
Yep.
Because we saw the penis in Terminator 1. So is it just there? Does it do anything? I don't know.
And see, this is another thing too. The problem I had with, and again, this comes from writing. You, Legion, why do you keep sending Terminators that don't function like humans. That's the one thing I loved about Salvation. Sam Worthington was a Terminator who didn't know and fought with himself because he was a Terminator, just didn't know it. Where is that? Like Skynet. This is the one thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. AI and algorithms are smarter and faster than we are. So I felt like they should have set up different things where, yeah, the human resistance is at a disadvantage. But I'm thinking I wanted to see, what do you do when you're faced with extinction? When you don't fight the same way when you're faced with extinction. Mm-hmm. This computer system committed mass genocide. How do you like you? And this goes back to what you said. If you're not going to tell me something new, stop making the Terminators. We already know how we fight.
Right.
But we have never.
And it always is the same way.
It always is the same way. So the thing is, this computer system is highly intelligent. The fact that it is able to crack time travel. Mm-hmm. So you as humans have had to advance. Why is it that you just augmented yourself and you didn't augment your thinking? Mm-hmm. And that's what I thought was a problem. Like, where were the AI that you were using? Because there's no way you're going to beat Legion just with, okay, we're shooting them here, It reminded me of Edge of Tomorrow.
That's a fun movie, man. When's that sequel coming out?
I don't know, but you're not going to beat them the same way, mm-hmm. because they're always a step ahead of you. Mm-hmm. Same thing in this. The Terminators already know what you're going to do, so you need an advantage. You need to be able. So I would have liked to have seen, some type of, maybe you got one of the Terminators, maybe. So I would have liked to have seen a different way of thinking versus the same story over and over again. You're fighting for your survival.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to me it should have been darker. Because in other words, it's called Dark Fate. And I'm not saying this just to be dark. I go back to Battlestar Galactica because, one, I think that show took a property, revitalized it, used modern day situations the best out of any show I've ever seen. When the Cylons had them and captured them, the Resistance used suicide bombers. Mm-hmm. I'm not an advocate of, but what I'm saying is they used storytelling to highlight a point against.
This is extreme.
This is extreme. When they do suicide bombers, that's when I was like, oh wow, you like y'all are serious. Like, mm-hmm. One, the human race is less than 1 million people. And then you're like, Carl, what you doing today? Nothing? Go put this vest on. Yeah. Like, I wanted to see something, like, I needed to see that. Like, and I'm not saying you suicide bomb Rev 9s.
You don't think Grace giving out her power chip was...
I do, but what I'm saying is, that's what they all do. Mm-hmm. I mean, that in every movie, isn't that what they've done in every movie?
Usually it's a Terminator that does something.
I mean, she kind of is a Terminator.
She's not a Terminator. She said she wasn't. Don't you Linda Hamilton her? She says she's a woman, just augmented. I'm a human, just different.
Okay. I felt like if you're in the fight for survival, and how she was hurt, and Grace was like, I volunteer for the Augment program. I wanted to see hear that, and have her explain that I wasn't going to make it, and the only way for me to survive and to keep fighting was to go in this program, which is basically a suicide mission, which is what I didn't get. Mm-hmm. And that's what in other words, that's what I want. I wanted her to scare Linda Hamilton. You didn't scare Linda Hamilton. Mm-hmm. Linda Hamilton was like, I kill these dudes for every day. Yeah. And then I just go get drunk and fall asleep in whatever ditch I fall in. Yeah. You should have scared the term. Like, I wanted Arnold to be like, that is a bad future. We must prevent. Like, and I never got that.
That's because Arnold is Carl now. And Carl is all about them drapes.
Carl should have been shook when they showed up. And Carl was not shook. I will say I did love Linda Hamilton once she bonded with Danny, when she was like, a Terminator just killed your whole family. And she was like, I was like,
yeah.
And I like that. Like, they were trying to protect her. Grace was trying to protect her. And Linda Hamilton's like, she's got to learn to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more. Because I did like the end when Linda Hamilton was like, well, let's not make her death in vain.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was awesome. But I kind of wanted to see that a little bit more. And
Maybe
so,
you'll get it in Dark Fate 2, the
Not
darkest
happening.
chapter. Oh,
Not-
it can happen.
no, it's not. Sure. Disney is like, you will not make another Terminator.
Oh, maybe it goes to Disney Plus.
No.
Or Hulu. Maybe it goes to Hulu.
You know what you'll get?
What?
In 4 years, call it. You get a TV show. You get a Hulu or Disney Plus watered down. You get something like that, but you will not. According, so let's right here. This IndieWire, because you were saying it bombed. Now, bombed is a harsh word. It made 29 million. It was projected to make 40 million, so it's 11 million off of what it was projected to make for this opening weekend.
Hey, player. Movies don't typically make more second weekend than in the first weekend.
I understand that. I agree with you. So what I'm saying is, if it didn't make 40 million, and that was when they kept moving it to jump on release dates when other people moved. Because remember, they moved it when Hobbs and Shaw was come out. Then they moved it again when the Wonder Woman spot opened up. They moved it to Wonder Woman spot. And you couldn't get more than 29 mil? That means...
My theater was packed for $5.
I was one of 2 people.
Really?
Dude, I walked in there and I had the whole theater to myself. And I saw this brother come in who looked like he just walked off of Wall Street. And I was mad. And I was like, that's a badass outfit. He walked in. I sat in the direct middle of the theater. He walked to the back. We did like this. We were the only people in the theater.
Okay, well.
I was
every
like,
theater, my theater
yo.
was packed. But again, I paid $5. So.
Everybody, when I was in line, now I saw it Sunday night. Everybody who was in line with me, guess what they were going to see?
Joker?
Nope.
Maleficent?
Harriet.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody who was in line with me was going to see Harriet.
Okay.
And when I said, this is a funny thing, when I said Terminator, the people in line behind me said, oh, Terminator's out?
Oh, that's no good.
And then the girl, it was her and whoever the male companion she was with. They both said, we'll see it Tuesday as a matinee. But the thing is, they didn't even realize it was out.
Yeah.
And as much as they put in this marketing campaign,
yeah,
you ain't getting it. When I will say this, we'll have kids before we get another Terminator movie.
All right.
I think this property in the theater is dead. I think this would be a great TV show. Give Terminator with when you think about, we've both talked about The Bodyguard. You talked about the Amazon show with John Krasinski, Jack Ryan. Think about how they're telling espionage stories. Imagine a Terminator show dealing with social media, the surveillance community, over-militarization, PMCs, the right to bear arms, all of that, and then you throw in a Terminator.
Yeah.
That's, to me, the days of Terminator movies are done. You can't do a good job. You're not doing it. We've given you 6 movies, and you've given us 2 good ones.
And 1 okay one.
And 2 okay ones.
It's just 1.
Salvation.
The most recent one.
Salvation.
Don't nobody like Salvation.
You're not going to talk about Sam Worthington like that. Had star in it. Little black girl. Remember she gave him the grenade at the end?
All right, folks. That is our talk about little black girls and grenades. So you can figure out what movie that's from if you just come in there at the end. That'll be great.
Terminator Salvation. Little black girls with grenades.
I'm supposed to tell them. They're supposed to figure out what the movie
I
was.
figured they would know because I just said it.
But they might have jumped in later.
That is true.
Like, comment, subscribe on this video. You got any questions you ask these people?
How can I get some grenades?
Okay. Well,
hey man, you don't know. Terminators could be real. We just don't know about it. That's the one thing I want. I want to live in the aftermath. How do you explain all that stuff that happened?
Okay.
How do you explain the dam, the helicopters, the C-5 planes, the fighter jets? How do you come on the news earlier tonight at McIntyre Air Force Base?
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that.
So find us here on YouTube, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WXX.com, and we out.
Peace.